classic European showdown between the Titan, the Red Terran Protoss, the Red Protoss player to the bottom right-hand side of the map. It is ShoWTimE, and he is playing against the Blue Zerg, who he just has the number of, but maybe today's the day that Namshar picks up a victory. He took 2 maps against him in the Leipzig bracket, but every single time that these players meet, they meet so often, and Namshar is something like 1 in 8, he's like, I think ShoWTimE is 18-0 in series against Namshar. It's insane. So let's see if today could be the day as we get set up into this best-of-3 semi-final. On the other side of the bracket, Nurcio is in the other semi-final. He is going to be playing against the winner of Fear and Clem. So that's going to be potentially pretty cool, ZVP or ZVT. And obviously we could be looking towards what is a very, very classic European matchup. Maybe even a ShoWTimE Nurcio finals. So we'll be keeping you guys up to date with all of this and bringing you guys a whole bunch of StarCraft 2 action still today from the Go4SC2. I just want to very quickly have a couple of shoutouts that I didn't get into because I was busy switching tournaments. So first of all, Bronze League Hobo, thank you for the cheer 30 in the chat. Appreciate the bits, mate. Does go a long way. What's up, Monstrix, coming in with the 2-month resub, saying love to Wardy. Keep up the good work. You're doing great. Thank you so much for the 2-month resub. And Diesel Max Power also for the 2-month resub. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, bro. Here's some Wardy hearts in the chat for all of our new subscribers, as we are, though, in this game and should be getting going and bringing you guys some of this action. Let me very quickly just send out a tweet. So, swapping events over to Go4SC2 now, as we have some insane semi-finals coming up. Starting with ShoWTimE versus Nurcio. Get into this. No, that's not true. ShoWTimE versus Namshar. Wrong Zerg. That begins with N. Namshar. Tweet. Alright, guys, let's do this. Namshar top left, ShoWTimE bottom right, as we introduced previously. And we're looking to see just what's going to happen in the next few moments as our players choose their build orders here on Catalyst. Ooh, normal maps, ladder maps. We've not seen them in a few days, have we? No, it's been a little while, if I'm going to be honest. I haven't casted ladder maps in just a little while, so kind of weird to be back on Catalyst as we get set up into this and look to see what will go on. ShoWTimE already being pushed away with that probe, as he was just trying to figure out what was happening over the last few moments. Now, there is a Stargate coming down, which is what we expect to see a lot of the time in PvZ. So already going in towards this Stargate here, getting that set up and ready to go as link speed coming in from Namshar. Going to be seeing a Queen coming up on the natural expansion as well, just getting set up into more and more Queens. A third Queen coming through with the third hatchery at in position as well. The initial Adept just picking up that early scout to see what else is going on. Now, it's going to be a Phoenix first from ShoWTimE to shut down this Overlord nice and quickly. The sooner he takes it down, well, the sooner it's going to be unable to provide supply, etc. So it does force an Overlord slightly faster from Namshar. Now he goes into the Oracle as well, as he's going to get that out and onto the map to start dealing some damage. So Phoenix doing a good job here, as we're going to see a few Zerglings of Namshar going to move through the center to see what they could find. As we come in to see it, we'll see these Zerglings coming down to the south side. And just going to be having the couple extra gateways on the way up as well as ShoWTimE. In the near future, we'll already be thinking about maybe how he's going to be taking his third base. With the Twilight Council coming down and resonating Glaives is a possibility, unless he wants to just go straight into charge. But Twilight so quickly kind of feels like Glaives and Adepts maybe as a way to hold on to the third Nexus while expanding. And, you know, put on some pressure while he takes that third Nexus, expands, etc. So, we'll see ShoWTimE just exactly what he wants to do in a moment or two. Could be something like, I mean, there's no Robo, right? Which is maybe what shies me away from thinking maybe something like a Templar Archives and Archon drop. Because even if the Robo comes in now, the Warp Prism won't be there in time to actually morph in the Archons on time. So there you go. Glaives it is from ShoWTimE, as expected. As this first Oracle doesn't do any damage just yet, just takes some, as the Phoenix is on the hunt for more Overlords around the map. So the Phoenix on the hunt for more OVs, as we do see a few more drones are on the way out as well, and just going to be having a few extra workers getting mining here on the third base. Obviously, Namshar just getting set up into his own economy at the moment, and again, this is how ShoWTimE defends the third Nexus. He's going to get a few Adepts over here, he's going to use those to defend, and as soon as they finish with Glaives, he'll get across the map with the potential to warp in some more defensively. He should be kind of fine. Maybe he's got a cannon up here at that stage by then, although he doesn't have a forge yet still. you know, maybe he just throws down a couple of shield batteries too. A lot of different things he can do to hold on. As Namshar throws down the Hydralisk Den, he's going to be playing in towards a Hydralisk Zergling style initially. No Baneling Nest for now. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be. Hydraling can be very aggressive off of 50 to 55 workers to an all-in sort of point. As we are going to see that Phoenix coming down the map as well. Take a Leafman in the chat says, I think you missed my resub. And you know what, bro? I think I did because it was just off my screen. I do apologize. Thank you so much, Take a Leafman, for the 15-month resub. Who says, keep up the good work. Great content as always. Just as these Adept shade in, though, you're going to be seeing the Lings getting a pretty good surround. I mean, 4 or 5 drones targeted in the process. I mean, a few Lings going down too. It was okay for now. It was okay for ShoWTimE. It wasn't the best Adept trade ever. But, he was able to pick it away. Yeah, sorry, Turgid. Apologize for the for missing the resub. Thank you for pointing it out in the chat. It's always good to point out when I miss them. Don't mean to miss anything. Just sometimes it happens in the, especially on a crazier day like today. It's been pretty hectic and busy, and we've been jumping between tournaments just now as well. So apologies for that. But again, thank you very much. Do appreciate it. Get some love in the chat for that 15 months as well, as we do have those Zerglings. Going to be jumping on towards those sentries, and a couple of force fields coming down. Oracle will get to work, but he is going to lose the sentries. He's moving away. No, he's going to let the other sentry live. Maybe he could have gotten even more damage there. Namshar, though, it's very hard. I feel as though that sentry should go down 9 times out of 10, right? I mean, I think you just stay around until the sentries die, then you click to run away. But maybe just panicking as the force fields fell on into position. Gets a couple of probes too as he starts to take the 4th hatchery to the upper right-hand corner of the map. Temple Archives is coming up in the main base too, so that's on its way. We'll be about halfway done in the next couple of moments. As we do see, this charge upgrade is getting very, very close to completion as well. +1 attack on the Forge, also about halfway done, and just going to be seeing still the Phoenix and the Oracle moving around to see what is next. Zerglings down through the center of the map as well. They're going to come all the way down here with 6 Hydras on the way up, and Queen as well. Obviously, everything is just looking normal for Namshar in terms of just continuing in towards Hydra play. The Roachron means he wants to play a Roach Hydra in the eventual kind of long scheme of things now, which is interesting to switch in towards Roaches at this sort of stage. And intrigued to see what we kind of go into then, or what he brings us from that. For now, Mystical Augment's coming up. No sign of a Roach speed yet. But that Roachron is there if he wants to use it. Oracle back into the main. Love the revelations on top of the ledge. Just keeps track of when is that Hive Tech coming into play. ShoWTimE wants to know about when the Hive Tech comes down, because if he knows about that, well, it was just magical for him, really, because then he knows exactly what's going on. But this is a classic Namshar move. The 5 Overlords are morphing into Dropper Lords. He's going to get aggressive. He's going to start dropping Hydras and other units around in towards the main base, etc. in the next few moments, and start to really get some damage done as Lings and Hydras coming in towards the middle of the map, and Namshar just starting to really get that creep spread rolling as well. As ShoWTimE finishes up his Storm, obviously he's going to have that on his side. +2 attack on the Forge. Chrono boosting away here at the moment. As we're just going to be seeing the Overseer sat overhead on the Lings and Hydras. More of these Dropper Lords. Well, the first Dropper Lords actually coming across right now. It will allow for that kind of lift up and movement in towards the main base, and that's where ShoWTimE is going to have to find a way to defend this. As we're going to be seeing the units pulling back a little bit off over to the left, and just going to be seeing again these Overlords going to drop into the main in the next couple of moments. So here we go. Going to get ready to unload, and lops a Hydra onto the low ground. As we see now, ShoWTimE does start to split his units away, and he has to pull all the way to the left as well at the same time. Just going to be seeing these Hydras already pushing down this direction. As we're going to be seeing the cannon taking some hits. A few drones going down as well. Meanwhile, though, ShoWTimE's to the top right-hand side, so he's killing some workers on his own. And this is just action all over the place at the moment. As we see, oh my god, so many storms coming into play. We're going to see a lot of these Hydras getting cleaned out at the moment. Although these High Templar are actually still getting some damage onto them as well. So actually a few High Templars going down. That's a little bit of a chaotic few moments. We still have Zealots up to this top side, which are just not quite going to finish this base. They're going to get picked off. Wow, what a trade-off this was overall. Who even comes out ahead? It's difficult to know. As you see, this Archon is going to just clean up those low health Hydras without really any issue. I mean, the issue is the Overlord has to drop them because it's so low. So low. Alright, going to be seeing the Overlords here down to the south side moving around a little bit. Hydras coming up the left as well. Lurker Den is also dropping down at the moment in the back of this natural, as we do just see 2 upgrades on the way up. These Zealots are desperate to try and finish off this 4th base, but he's not quite going to find it here because the transfusions are going to be good enough to keep on defending. As we do see a War Prism loading up a few Zealots on this far right-hand side. So loading up a few there. More Dropper Lords getting into place. Obviously, Namshar's kind of happy with how that last drop went and feels as though more of the same might just be the trick to success here at the moment. As we do see these Hydras still coming down and just going to be seen again. That one Zealot to the right does get picked off. Well, where do you go from here? The issue is Namshar is still stuck on Lair Tech. Infestation Pit is down to Tech into Hive, but it feels as though he needs to make as many units as possible just to survive at the moment. So, running into some issues. We're just going to see these couple of Zealots getting lifted up in towards that Prism. Going to be coming through the top side here, and again, more Hydras coming down the right as well to just see what will happen. Drop in once more then, going into the main base in a moment or two, and just going to be seeing the Forge is on the way for ShoWTimE. So Forge coming through for ShoWTimE at the moment here, as we're going to see again extra Hydras on the way up over in the main base. Still just sat on this kind of Roach Hydra composition, not really making much progress beyond that. The Lurker Den's down, but he still isn't using it to kind of really get units onto the map. ShoWTimE is still just sort of ping-ponging between bases at the moment and thinking about where that next attack's going to come from. Man, a single observer on this right-hand side would be so useful to continue seeing when these Dropper Lords are coming in. So right now, ShoWTimE just doesn't have much of a one in the bat, and 4 Zealots and an Archon doesn't really make for much of a defense. That Archon goes down in 2 volleys. As we're actually going to see the recall into the main here out of ShoWTimE as a way to defend this. Just recalls half of his army, leaving a lot of it to the left side to deal with that next push again. As we're going to be seeing these Roaches, Hydras, Lurkers from ShoWTimE, from Namshar, sorry, are going to get ready to push down this left side. But again, ShoWTimE's already in position to deal with this. Another few force fields coming into position, already dealing just so much more damage. As we're going to see a Storm coming down, and I mean, more Lurkers taking some more shots too. ShoWTimE just continuing to chunk away at this army, and Namshar going in towards Hive Tech, going into more Hydras, is eventually teching up here, but he's just been on this again, mid-tier tech for so long, that ShoWTimE is really set up so well against it. I don't think he's very worried how this is, as we're just going to be seeing the units here from ShoWTimE setting up. We're going to see these Hydras dropping down, but actually going to want to drop on the low ground instead. Try and get away from those Zealots a little bit, and he will join his entire army together now. ShoWTimE maybe in a little bit of a dangerous spot here. Single Storm goes down to push a few of those Hydras back. Going to be seeing some units from the left-hand side too. Another Storm drops. Archon still trying to run on forwards, as we do see these units are just being pushed back. The Hydra force alone is not enough here, it seems, because it just can't sit in the storms, which means it's going to get pushed away. So eventually ShoWTimE buys himself more time to set up more units and more of a defense in the near future. These rocks get taken down, 13 more Roaches on the way up, and we're just going to be seeing another Overlord picked off, as we have got, again, moving up through the central position. ShoWTimE finding himself the single Storm just on the tail end of those Hydras. And again, why isn't Namshar teching up? Why isn't he got... I mean, he's got Hive now, but he's just been so drained because of the way that he's been trying to deal significant damage on the Lair Tech. I just don't really think he's really found it. These cleanups from ShoWTimE have been absolutely insane. He's never really been without the correct set of units in the right, in one location at a time. He's recalled when the one time he was maybe out of position, but obviously he's known he's had that recall available, so he could get units there if he needed to. Everything's just been pristine by ShoWTimE, and that's the issue for Namshar here. It's just not an easy opponent, and he probably feels as though he's just hitting a brick wall again and again. Roaches and Hydras pushing down the left is going to be seen. Well, the shield batteries just will not do enough here for now. So this time, ShoWTimE is out of location. But again, he has the recall, so out of location no longer. But actually, maybe that's not a good enough set of units to deal with this. They're getting clumped up on the structures. The SimCity was bad for him. And these Zealots are going to go down so quickly too. For the first time here, ShoWTimE looks as though he's actually taken significant damage to an attack of Namshar. As you see a couple of other units come on the top side, they're on their own. Loses an Archon because of it, doesn't quite lose the Immortals. And Namshar is going to get himself a base. So finally, Namshar finds some progress here. Extra Lurkers on the way up, and this continuous just splitting up of his units has been enough to maybe give him a lead in this game. Still in the ShoWTimE, some units in the center, Dropper Lords to the right, don't really have much in them. Again, Hydras and Roaches pulling back over to the left-hand side as the Immortals will gather themselves in at the center of the map. We're just going to be having free upgrades from Namshar coming through for the missiles. He's about to finish the Spire, so I imagine with the Hive being up, he's going to go in towards the Greater Spire. Obviously never felt much need for anything off of the Hive, such as Vipers. I mean, against an Immortal Archon Storm composition, you probably don't, especially with the High Templar here. Makes it so difficult to use those Vipers as, oh my god, well, all of a sudden, ShoWTimE has a flank from either side. That's going to be a good fight for him, as Namshar just isn't able to join the fight with the Hydras, and so every single lurker just disappears. And just Namshar unable to kind of get damage out with the rest of his army at the same time as the lurkers were dying. Just means that he loses that fight quite significantly. Cancels the base bottom left once more, but now these units are trapped in. There's no way out. They go to the right hand side, a couple of Archons are going to stop them along their way. Sure, Namshar makes the most of it, gets rid of 3 of the Archons here, saying, well, you trapped me in here with you. What did you expect? 4 workers as he drops into the main base as well now. And we're just going to be seeing the last few of these units will be dropping. That will be the end of these Hydralisks. Well, ShoWTimE has cleaned up once again. He's once more into the supply lead. As soon as something starts to go right for Namshar, ShoWTimE's just like, no, actually, I'm going to take an amazing fight just to turn it around all over again. As we're just going to be seeing the units gathering together once more for ShoWTimE. This time, it's actually the first time he's pushed out onto the map for quite some time. He's really just been in defensive mode for the, for recent times. Well, Zealot's coming into the back here. Maybe he needs that with the army if he wants to move across. Just want to point out the insane number of units, though. 10 Immortals. Obviously, he's been losing Archons, but the Immortals, he's been keeping alive very nicely. One of them has 10 kills here. One of them has 10 kills. Actually, a lot of them have 10 kills. That's kind of crazy. 7, 4, 5, 5, 4, 10, 0, 1. A lot of these Immortals have been around for a long time, is the point I'm trying to make. They've been picking up a lot of kills throughout these engagements, and they've been doing a lot to kind of, well, shut down. It's been one of the big reasons that Namshar has not broken him with just Lair Tech, because as he's tried to break him with Lair Tech, ShoWTimE's kept the important units alive, and he's just gotten more and more of them, which means that he doesn't have to be in this weird position of, oh, I don't quite have enough tech units to actually shut you down here. Now, the Broodlords are out on the map. They've just finished morphing, but the first Tempers are already coming through from ShoWTimE, so he's already got somewhat of an answer, although maybe not enough to fight right away right now. And he's maybe thinking of going for a storm there as he brought his High Templars forward. But he'll actually lose 2 of them to the Broodlings already. That's going to be a 3rd. Wow, 3 High Templar. What a pick-off that is for Namshar. He's going to start his march down to the south side of the map. He's pretty much maxed out here. 3 more Corruptors are going to try and come in to take down the Tempest. A couple of Lurkers leading the charge. That's not the best way to start this off, as finally this base from Namshar goes down to the top right-hand side. I mean, ShoWTimE has been pressing for that for so long now, as you're going to be seeing those Roaches and Hydras picking off those last few Zealots. And again, the Tempest pushing forwards now, though, in better numbers, able to chase those Broodlords down. And Namshar is pushed right away, and able to capitalize on having just killed off a bunch of High Templar and so much more. Lurkers on the way out, 10 of them right now, as you see +1 flyer attacks on the Greater Spire, +1 melee coming through on the Evolution Chamber as well. Tempest actually in a little bit of trouble here as they start to fight the Corruptors. They're not really made for fighting Corruptors, these Tempests. They get that extra bonus damage to Massive, which means that against Broodlords, they have a great time. Against Corruptors, they really just do so much less. It takes them forever to push on through the army. And so that is the issue. They probably, even if they're in a fight with Corruptors, if there's Broodlords behind, they'd be better off just targeting the Broods down as many as possible before the Corruptors get rid of them. ShoWTimE pushes through the center of the map. He's trying to get in a position with these Lurkers. Adaptive Talons is done to increase that burrow speed so he can reposition very easily. And these Lurkers now are just picking away at these units from a distance. I mean, from a distance, it's okay. Whatever you're hitting on is going to be damage, right? As you're going to see pushing down. I mean, Revelation Storms, the Immortals just chew their way through the Lurkers. No problemo, as the Corruptors have gone. Now the Broodlords are disappearing very, very quickly. The Tempest count is good enough. And again, the Immortals are surviving on the ground as Namshar loses out on pretty much everything. It's just down to the Tempest to clean out these last couple of units. I mean, one final Broodlord goes down with one last little volley. There it is. And now it's just a Corruptor or 2, which obviously isn't going to do very much damage on its own. It could Caustic Spray, but then you just need to warp in a couple Stalkers, and it's going to get taken down itself anyways, as it's not going to be dealing any damage back to anything. Just going to be seeing these units coming back up to the top side, and just going to be seeing the attack continuing right now. More units from the top. I mean, Namshar is going to try and desperately hold on. At this stage, though, he's lost out on his own tech, right? He doesn't have Broodlords anymore, so it's a lower tech army once again, back to pretty much just pure Hydra. As they continue to push down this direction, those Tempests pulling all the way away. Turns around to throw on one volley onto that Overseer, which survives on 1 hit point. Somehow, some way. 20 minutes into this game number 1, it has been an epic between Namshar and ShoWTimE. And Namshar has just been bleeding out in the last few moments. ShoWTimE really has put up one hell of a fight. Some great defense throughout the game. Look at that. Resources lost 39k apiece. That's how good a game it's been. Back and forth. Equal trades. A lot of good fights. Perhaps one of the best PvZs we could have asked for when swapping into Go4SC2. Again, we're going to be casting this semi-final and then the grand finals of this. So this best of 3, then a best of 5. And the other semi-final, Nurture and Clem are currently in game number 1 and Acid Plant. I am in that game to maybe bring you guys some updates or so as it goes. As we might be able to jump in after this fight, because right now, pushing forward, ShoWTimE. Is he missing detection for the Lurkers, I think? Is that why he's pulling back? I think so. He starts up an Oracle. Meanwhile, he's got Zealots though on the left-hand side, and Namshar just doesn't have a response to this. Again, it's another 17 drones that just get massacred before even the army begins to move across here. As the army arrives, okay, the Zealots go pretty quick, but the damage is already done. The economy is hurting, and, well, ShoWTimE's also using that as an opportunity to get in position on the right-hand side to keep picking his way through this central base. Lurkers take the chance to move a little bit further forwards, and again, there isn't actually very many, any detection here at all, really, as the Void Rays pop themselves into prismatic alignment mode. Will not really help much at all, will do anything against the Hydras, but John's starting to pick their way through this here, honestly. As we're going to be seeing more of these Voids dropping. Namshar, has he just turned this around? Oh my god, ShoWTimE's just lost his entire army. Oh my god. Well, at the same time, Namshar's losing the majority of his economy. 30 workers killed in recent times. Somehow he's still on 50 drones, which I have to say is just straight up very impressive. We're going to be seeing those last few Zealots going down, and again the 2 Oracles coming in to get a few more workers as well. Oh my god, from 30 to 50 maybe in the next few moments as this continues. These Oracles are going huge. There's actually 30 to 40, no jokes aside. So 40 workers killed in the last few moments, and Namshar, he doesn't have many workers left, but his army could do this now because he cleaned out a lot. Those Void Rays fighting against Hydralisks were not a good trade. He lost the Tempest as well, and Namshar, for the first time in a long time, has an army which he could generally go across the map and end the game with here. But I think he's a bit scared. I think it's one of those scenarios where it's just so difficult to know what sort of position you're in. You've been behind for so long. Is it really, how do you believe in yourself that suddenly you have an advantage after that fight? As we are going to be seeing Lurkers pulling down through the center. The top right-hand side, this Oracle is back at work. Hey, I said 30 to 50 somewhat jokingly moments ago, but now it really is. Like, it was 31. Now it's 48 workers killed in the last, 2 minutes? Absolutely crazy. This lost tap is insane. 25 High Templar lost along the way, by the way. And suddenly Namshar, don't know what, I guess the economy of ShoWTimE just kicks in once again, right? Namshar didn't move across immediately, and so all of a sudden ShoWTimE is evened out the supplies once more, and that's just how quick he can do it. When he's on this many workers, this many bases, he feels good to do it, and wow, what a way to go. There's another couple of Roaches and Hydras still on the way up, and well, just gonna sit on the right hand side. More units from ShoWTimE. Just moving around the map. 24 minutes into this game now, and maybe not even ending in the near future. Or maybe it will. Depends on how this fight will go, because Namshar is pressing forwards on the left side of this to push in towards these cannons, and already doing some good damage here. Some storms coming down as we do see the cannons continue to get picked away at. Another storm drops, and the Hydras dodge away once again. A few more Zealots on the way through. Zealots will charge on forwards, and they're starting to make progress in towards these Hydras. Does Namshar have enough Hydralisks? It kind of feels like the answer to that is perhaps no. Kind of in a way, though. Now these High Templar are out of energy, so there's no more storms. Now Namshar can jump on this. These High Templars will go down. The Zealots are pulling back rather than fighting, so suddenly there is enough Hydras, and Namshar might be about to break through ShoWTimE. What on earth are we seeing right now in this game number 1? Namshar and ShoWTimE have thrown everything at each other, it feels like. What a way to open up our entrance into Go4SC2, even if it is a late entrance. Wow. I am so happy we came over here to join these games, because Namshar and ShoWTimE are just playing out of their minds. 25 minutes and Namshar comes out on 0. Namshar in the lead of this series. Let's see what he can do as we, again, get back into the action. Alright, we start with our Protoss player in the top left-hand side, who is currently down 1 game after an epic first map. Can he fight back? Let's find out. It's our red Protoss player, ShoWTimE. And to the bottom right-hand side, our blue Zerg player, it is Namshar. Alright. It's going to turn out to be a nice long stream today for the way these semi-finals are heating up. As we are going to be seeing the setup here initially from Namshar, going to be a hatchery coming down into location in the next few moments. So he's going to be expanding and setting up. So hatchery first as gateway comes down for ShoWTimE. His probe coming through the center of the map as well. To keep on going. I'm actually just going to very quickly put up on the picture-in-picture. No, it's not working. Quickly, there we go. Just going to show you guys this fight happening in Clem Nurture, because right now it looks as though Nurture might be making progress on the 5th base. His Broodlords are just too high in number, and he's gotten rid of the Ghosts, which means there's actually not really anything else to fight the Broodlords. It looks as though Nurture may have just about broken Clem over there in game number 1 of that semi-final, which is happening in this same event, Go4SC2, which we've swapped into here to wrap up our stream today. That base goes down. I think that might really be the beginning of the end for Clem, and that might just be GG in the next few moments. What's up, Splat101? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub as well on the channel. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Don't forget, any new subscribers do get that replay pack as well. That's coming out in a few days with all of the matches we cast, including these games from Go4SC2 today. As we are setting up into game number 2 of this PvZ early game on Acid Plant. An interesting one for the PvZ. I always feel as though the choice of bases becomes very interesting. It's very difficult for the Zerg to set up the flanks, but they so often like to go for in the PvZ to come in from a couple different angles. But it's also a very strong lurker map, because the same applies to Protoss. You know, very narrow pathways, meaning that it's very difficult to engage into lurkers, because you can only really engage from one direction, and that can make it a little bit difficult to continue on along in those games for a longer period of time. As we're going to see this Overlord pull him in towards the main base here. I'm just going to be seeing that Nexus from ShoWTimE finishing up on the natural. Wing speed is coming up here as well here from Namshar, so he's getting that set up with a 3rd hatchery as well. And again, just to give you guys the full-on final update, we saw Nurture winning that game against Clem. Oh, he was about to win that game. He has now just taken map number 1. So Nurture leads Clem 1-0 in that PvZ series. You know, it would be so right for the first time that Namshar ever beats ShoWTimE in a competitive series, for it to be on Go4SC2 to create a ZVZ Grand Final. If it was Nurture Namshar, that would just be so typical of Go4SC2, and it's just absolute tendency to magnetize towards ZVZ finals. And as we are going to be seeing this Overlord coming in, but obviously going to be targeted pretty quickly, because we are going to be having the Phoenix targeting that down. And it's going to be seeing the Oracle is on the way up to follow up. So Phoenix first, going to shut down the Overlord into the Oracle to follow up. Again, so far nothing out of the ordinary in the early stages of PvZ for these two players. Oracle is on the way up still, as you're going to see these Zerglings going to be moving in towards the center. I'm just going to be seeing the Phoenix again, just going to be targeting down this Overlord to do, again, a little bit more, just pushing it back into the main. As the Oracle does die for a couple of workers. Again, nicely done here so far. As we do have the Oracle just backs off though, keeps its shields alive, or keeps its health intact, only losing some shields along the way. As we do just have the Twilight Robo. A follow up here from ShoWTimE, so going in towards something which looks a lot more like with 4 gates as well. Ooh, maybe charge and the Templar Archives right away, just going in towards those Archons. Let's see what he wants to build up here. What comes in off the Robo facility as well will be a big telltale sign. Charge does begin to chrono boost. There it is. The Templar Archives coming down as well. Just going to be a setup which will allow him to be very aggressive here in the near future. So, setting up in towards this, that Templar Archives coming on through. As we do see an Oracle, and a Phoenix splitting up and going different directions as they head back home, actually, for ShoWTimE here at the moment. Now, Namshar, this game is going to play a Roach-based style, which is actually going to be very nice against the charge lots, against the Archons in general. It's going to help him a lot, rather than bypassing straight in towards just what was Ling Hydra last time around. It's actually going to be a huge part of his gameplay. It would have been very... What's going on? So, a few Lings going through the center, and do you see the Roaches continue to come on up? Charge is going to be finishing very soon. And ShoWTimE just with the third Nexus. He's not going to go overly aggressive with this. I mean, the potential for aggression is there. He isn't actually making any more probes. Let's keep an eye on that. Okay, there we go. Some more probes do start up, so he's looking to saturate a third. So it's just a bunch of gates initially, so he does have the opportunity to be aggressive as you see two Archons leading the charge forwards. Ironic, because the Zealots are the ones with the charge upgrade in a few moments, but it's not done just yet, I suppose. And this does finish up here. Well, there isn't actually any Zealots which are looking to fight. Those two have wussied out of the engagement. They've gone back home. There'll be some more fresh Zealots ready for the battle. Warped in from Aya here in the next few moments, perhaps from the Prism. If he finds somewhere to warp in right now, ShoWTimE seems to just be getting pushed away from everywhere. As Namshar still just making pure Roaches. I'm actually a little bit concerned about ShoWTimE, because this is going to be a big attack across the map from Namshar. He's just making a lot of Roaches going straight across the map. ShoWTimE's beginning to recognize what's going on. He's going to bring his Archons back in the Warp Prism, and he's going to look to try and shut this down. So he's already beginning to respond to this, as obviously Namshar is looking to try and pick up some damage already. These Zealots going to be taking some shots, and well, the biggest issue here is the Oracle, which is going to be targeting down already one of the Ravagers, and now starting to target down another one because there's no anti-air in this army. So two Ravagers picked off already, and this is already looking like a disaster right now for our Zerg player in terms of committing in towards his attack. And Immortal here as well will only help further, as you're going to see the force fields. Well, the Sentry's kind of out of energy then, kind of a dead weight at the moment, I suppose. It would be more useful as a paperweight, or perhaps not, because they don't seem very heavy. As you do see, Mortals and the Archon really going to be the big part of what's going to keep on fighting here. The Sentry's got saved by the Prism. There's actually Namshar just breaking on forwards. I mean, those Immortals are getting lower and lower. They're not down and done for just yet, but man, a few more shots, and if they go down, that really will be a big loss here, of course, for ShoWTimE. So going to be seeing those Ravagers and Roaches pulling back then, and we're going to be seeing Namshar looking as though he'll probably be heading towards a transition in the near future. So setting up in towards that now. Although I guess I say a transition, but he's actually only continuing with missile upgrades. He's just continuing with Roaches and Ravagers. No Hydralisk Den. Haha, there you go. The Caster Curse. No Hydralisk Den, as the Hydralisk Den gets placed on down. Makes sense. At some point you need something more than just Roaches, because Roaches just do not cut it. Even with Ravagers, it's just not good enough nowadays to really make it work out. Warp Prism in the main base. Going to be unloading a good chunk of these Zealots. And they are going to be starting to work their way through. A few of these drones actually getting focused on Roaches and the Queen at the moment, so not doing too much. Two Zealots over here as well. Yeah, a lot of damage done on the hatchery, but will not quite finish it. But it is an opportunity that ShoWTimE can focus on later. It's a base that shouldn't be too difficult for him to end up picking off in the end, in the long run. Fourth Nexus from ShoWTimE coming down just in front of this main base. As we see more Roaches and Namshar. I'm going to be gathering up with these Queens and getting ready to push up this right-hand side and towards this sort of position, and just pulling back once again. Archon is taking a little bit of damage. Just going to be seeing the units coming all the way around the right, and well, that's the issue again. ShoWTimE just has a pretty decently set up army, as we're going to be seeing. Oh my god, that Storm on the low ground. Queens have even come across here for Namshar. That's how serious he is about ending this game in the near future. He wants this to be over. He does not want to stick around. He does not want to stick around for the life of him. There's two more Ravagers on the way up once again. Going to be seeing this Immortal. Going to take some damage. Does go down. Nice Storm. Ravagers are very flimsy, and so Storm's landing on top of them does do a lot of damage. And really does hurt them quite a bit. As you're going to see, there's the Force Fields coming in. He will pop the Force Fields quite quickly, so it is going to allow him to back away still. Well, there are another couple of good Force Fields coming down. ShoWTimE making the most of the energy on those sentries to get as much as possible out of his opponent. These Ravagers still coming all the way down to the south. War Prism still just setting up over to the right as well, and +2 weapon on the Forge. Starting to get that spinning away, so in this stage, well, what is next? I mean, the Hydras start to come on through, and I imagine eventually we end up in the similar sort of late game as we did last time from Namshar. It's been a very different way of getting there, but I mean, at this stage, it just seems to make sense for him to start dropping around, moving in towards Lurkers, and there's the Drop Lords morphing, there's the Lurker then coming down just about when I said it. It's really this sort of stage where you want to be building Lurkers, you want to be dropping or doing something, unless you're going up into Hive Tech, which is not what Namshar is doing. He doesn't rush Hive Tech right away, he does wait a lot longer than a lot of players would. As we do see Roaches and Hydra pushing back the Prism, keeping himself safe over from this location. As Namshar maxes out. Again, I mean, ShoWTimE dealt with that drop play so well last time around. Is it really going to be possible for him to deal with it so well once again? I mean, obviously, he's done it once. Surely he can do it twice, but I mean, it was just so pristine in the last game. It's hard to imagine him being able to improve on it, definitely, but I guess even replicating it would be fantastic to watch. So let's see, as we are going to be seeing these Roaches, or I guess I should say Hydralisks, coming over to the left-hand side. Hydras aren't Roaches, believe it or not. The Phoenix from early in the game is still here, though, by the way, and that is going to be allowing him to pick his way through a couple of these Overlords. Won't get any kills, but just gives them the pre-warning that this attack is coming in. And it does just start to chip away, which means that over time, as these Overlords do start to take more damage, they will get actually, you know, more easily taken down as the Roach Rider Force hits into the main. At the same time, on the right-hand side, well, there is ShoWTimE typically already prepared with his initial army. And over here, we're going to see a lot of these Immortals are sent in to deal with it. As wow, ShoWTimE just dealing with this so effectively on either side. These Archons pushing all of these units back and able to really, again, make the most of that little scenario. Wow, what a defense again. ShoWTimE just relentless when it comes to defending these kind of split kind of aggression attacks. We've seen these Overlords try and drop down once again, and we're just going to be seeing the Roaches going down once more. Namshar's been completely shut down here, and again, ShoWTimE. Well, this is the position he got into last game. He completely shut down the attacks. He put himself into a decent position. And from that stage, Namshar in the end was able to make it happen with the Lurkers and the continued aggression, the continued attacks on multiple angles. So, we'll see if that's the case here, but already ShoWTimE is pushing through the center, and he may just not give Namshar the time he needs to set up into what he wants to deal with this and to claw his way back in. Group team is being targeted down. Hatchery bottom left is on its way up, and that's something which ShoWTimE was already moving towards. He's cleaned up so much of the creep here, though. So many Lurkers on this high ground, but these Immortals can just fight them. They're going to be able to kill them off so quickly. There's just no support. If there was support here, it'd be a very different equation, but now Namshar, well, he just doesn't have it, so he's going to be losing a lot of his Lurkers, and that's going to be a shame for him. There's a couple of Archons going to be catching some of these Lurkers moving down over the right-hand side as well. And again, just going to be seeing ShoWTimE continue to come through this and continue to get a lot done, as you're going to be seeing again, Lurkers firing away, and these Archons taking some more shots. Units starting to spread on out, and again, more Hydras from Namshar. Just seeing what they can do. Roaches and Hydras in general gathering up on top of those Lurkers. But ShoWTimE has just done such a great job of continuing to deny bases, continuing to deny just damage, you know, being dealt, I've broken, guys. I casted too much today. That's it. Good night, goodbye. ShoWTimE has just been doing so good a job of being able to deny damage around the map, and from denying damage around the map, he's also taken some very good trades. Picking off multiple Lurkers there, for example, is always going to be fantastic. Pushing up here is more difficult because the Roaches and the Hydras are actually here to support this time. And that's the mistake Namshar keeps making, just kind of having his Lurkers a little bit too on their own, as this single Stalker is going to be picking its way through this Extractor. And again, just going to be seeing a couple drones going down the main base because the Zards are here and already warping in to create some further damage. Spire taking some shots as well. And just going to be seeing Immortals, Archons pushing their way forwards in this. A lot of drones going to be going down. I mean, he's broken through the Lurkers, and it is a GG well played. ShoWTimE takes game. Going into that right away here now to continue on and along. So with that said, let's see what's going to happen in this final game of this series. He will go to the Go4SC2 finals. As we played out on Blackpink, to the top right-hand side, it is going to be our red Zerg player, Namshar. He's going up against the blue Protoss to the bottom left. It is ShoWTimE. What's up, Nolan? Coming in for the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much for the sub. Get some love in the chat for Nolan, please. Thank you very much. And Jim Sock for the cheer 15. Thank you very much as well, mate, for the bits. We're actually very close to killing off the bit boss. If you guys want to get a little bit feisty, then you're more than welcome to. 71 bits to be the bit boss. You get your name on screen. I mean, not every day you get your name on screen, is it? What can I say? Alright, well, Blackpink here comes into a scenario where it's a much more standard map, I feel, than the last one. Acid Plant can definitely have some of those weirder moments. But intrigued to see maybe what exactly will come of this in the next couple of moments, as we are going to be seeing the setup just getting ready to go. It's going to be seeing the probe coming up towards the upper right hand side and obviously scanning around. So this map is much more standard. It has the 3 bases that you can take over here quite easily. Defense pretty easily as well. 4 base over here too if you would like it. And just in general, you can kind of push out onto the map, and this is definitely one that can go late. I keep getting creeped out by the fact we're in Blackpink on Nurture Clem, then we go into Blackpink on here. The same as we were in Acid Plant on Nurture Clem, then we went into Acid Plant for Game 2 of this series. It's just getting a little bit creepy. A little bit creepy. Alright, so just seeing what else is going to be happening as that spawning pool does finish up, and we're just going to be seeing this overload of Namshar about to arrive on the other side. I mean, I feel as though if Namshar's played the same style twice, why would he change it now in the 3rd game unless he's going to do something really crazy and aggressive? Well, I guess that's what we'll find out in the near future, but for now, eyes open, looking ahead and seeing what's going to happen. First of all, actually flies in to get intercepted by a Stalker from the get-go. Stalker's first is not new, kind of super normal. I mean, it happens. It means that this next adept is a little bit late, and we're going to have a little bit of a delayed setup here in terms of continuing onwards. As we do just have that speed from Namshar about halfway done. And again, definitely expecting him to play a similar style. As for ShoWTimE, well, I mean, he goes into the Stargate, so we'll see if he goes Phoenix first again. Maybe not because he killed the Overlord, I guess. He could go straight into the Oracle, right? So there it is, the Oracle comes up instead. So just changing his build slightly based on the fact he does kill that initial Overlord before the Stargate finishes. We do just have Queen, some Zerglings gathering up towards the natural expansion. So that Oracle coming through, we'll be finishing in a moment or so, and again more Zerglings coming across the map. Namshar going to be heading down towards the bottom left hand side to see if he can nibble away at some bits and pieces. Deb there, picking away at a couple of those Zerglings, and well, so far the Oracle starting to come in towards the upper right hand side of the map. So see this Oracle diving in, is going to be able to pick away at a couple of the drones, right? But doesn't want to kind of keep it in there for too long. So we do see once more the Twilight Council and the Robot Facility coming down from ShoWTimE. So starting to get set up in towards this as this Oracle continues to move on around and through. And just seeing what it can get up to. So Oracle still looking around here. Phoenix comes in looking for an Overlord, but 2 Queens will be able to defend. And that Phoenix is going to get pushed back. Well, I mean, similar setup to the last game. 2 more gates coming up. Warp Prism and there's the Templar Archive. Going to set up for that gateway, for the 4 gates to allow for the 4 Templar, and hence the 2 Archons. The Archon drop, the play here from ShoWTimE to keep things going suddenly to previously. Sorry guys, my throat's actually hurting quite a bit. And that's why I'm stopping talking every now and then. It's been a little bit of a crazy day. Lots of great games. as we do have those Zerglings. Going to be pulling back across over the right-hand side. Phoenix here, already nibbling away at that Overlord, and we are going to be seeing Queens again, able to push that Phoenix back through the center of the map. War Prism will start to warp in a few of those High Templars we previously mentioned. And there's the charge upgrade behind it, so that ShoWTimE can really start to apply this pressure in the near future. So it's going to be into this charge lot Archon style. Those two Archons finish up and going to be pressing on forwards. Well, I mean, really, that's an Overlord which you can pick off here, right? I mean, not even real worth kind of transfusing, I suppose. As well, the Hydra's starting to come out, though, and that means the Prism has to sit a little bit further back, which means the Archons have to be a bit more cautious, because the last thing you want is for the Prism to go down, for those Archons to end up stranded. Well, Prism going to be coming around the side, and we'll also just be looking for new locations to attack. I mean, a fresh 4th hatchery is actually not a bad deal. I mean, that's going to be a cancel, perhaps, and then a drone kill. Definitely not bad at all. Immediately starts to build once again. Namshar wants to send a new worker there right from the very start, so trying to get that, make sure that 4th hatch comes into play, and this time some Hydras get into position so that the War Prism, of course, will not have as great of a time. Although 4 Hydras on their own off creep, there's a possibility that that is something that won't happen here. As you can see, the cancel and rebuild once again, just slowing down this 4th hatchery by such a long time with these Archons. Really able to get a lot done here so far, as we see that Storm on the way up, plus 1 attack coming through as well. A couple of Chrono Boosts coming down. Hydras to the top side from Nurture, going to be coming and rotating back in towards the center, and just going to see the War Prism loading up with a couple more Archons, and he just needs to, I say a couple more, it's the same too, but he's just so close to kind of walking into this set of Hydras, it's kind of scary. There's a lot more Hydras on the way out. Namshar, what is your goal here? What's your plan at the moment? He's going to be seeing those Hydras continue to get set up, and well, I mean, 5 drop lords coming in. It's the Namshar Overlords. Every time he makes 5 as well, so obviously that's like his magic number. It's the number he obviously feels really is worthwhile. As we do just see, he's going to start to move forwards and getting set up out into position. So, Namshar with a similar move to what we've seen before, and it really does just come down to ShoWTimE. Is he going to be able to defend like he's done in the previous games? Because honestly, he really has defended fantastic in game number 1 and 2 against this attack in particular. And so there's no real reason for him to not do it now in game 3. Is the idea. Oh my god, sorry. I just looked across to Nurture Clem for a moment to see how it's going. And I just see Nurture dropping some Corrosive Bowels on a Liberator, which then kills his own Broodlord, 2 of them. That was amazing. Alright guys, sorry. Namshar continue to come through the center of the map. And he's going to be pushing all the way down here. As you're going to see a couple of Hydras and the Ling. That's going to be moving forwards. And again, the Dropper Lords are the main story right now, which are heading towards the main base. Results from ShoWTimE to the top side are perhaps going to jump up in towards the Prism. And could move in towards the main as, again, this drop about to be coming into play. Zealots to the top side, we'll run on in though, and that's going to be the start of the denial on economy here. I mean, already this 4th hatch looking as though it might be in trouble because there's no reinforcements. There's a couple of Hydras starting to help out as these Hydras drop into the main though, and oh my god, I mean, the Forge is going to go down. Maybe the Templar Archives too, the Nexus will. This time ShoWTimE has not got an answer. He's very, very slow to pull yours back in position, so Forge, Templar Archives, and the Nexus so far. Namshar is able to get quite a lot done here. As we're going to be seeing these Hydralisks continuing to just work their way through a lot of these different gateways and just shutting down production. It definitely will hurt the Protoss player in the near future. Now here comes the Storms, and that's where, very intelligently, Namshar knows it's time to lift up and get out of there. So he lifts up a lot of those Hydras, begins to get out. However, now the Archons on the south side can push in, and that's going to keep him in a difficult spot where it's always difficult to know maybe what you should do at that stage if you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Should he go to the rock or the hard place, or should he just try and stay in between to then just die later on anyways? I think those Storms can reach those Overlords, and oh my god, one of the full ones goes down, and that's going to be another one as well. In fact, they're all going to drop. Those Storms picking off every Overlord here, and that's going to supply block Namshar on top of the fact he just lost a ton of Hydras. ShoWTimE is making magic happen at the moment. Some fantastic PvZ from him, and just again another pristine defense. In the end, I guess pristine definitely isn't the word to describe this one. I'm getting ahead of myself. I mean, he lost the Nexus, the Forge, and the Templar Archives, right? I mean, that's a lot of losses, especially the Forge. His +2 was so close to finishing. As we are going to be seeing these Hydras setting up on the upper left side and picking off a Zealot here. It's going to be seeing Namshar is just setting up on the top side. A few Lurkers morphing in, but oh my god, if he's going to find the Lurkers, oh yeah, cancels the Hydras, but even then they're still out of position a little bit because they're getting ready to make Lurkers. So not really with the rest of the army, as we do see some of the army here now from Namshar pulling back down to the south, maybe going to try and run to the 4th base of ShoWTimE. Namshar still is just a little bit ahead in terms of getting towards maxed out here, I imagine because of the denial on this Nexus, giving him a little bit of an eco lead at points, and he has had the eco lead in general, although there's been points where ShoWTimE has evened it out, I guess maybe when workers are transferring or something along those lines. Interesting. Well, a few more Lurkers just on the way up then, as Namshar, he's going to be getting into these, which again so far have not really been that troublesome. Now ShoWTimE's been able to clean these up multiple times over. He's fought against Lurkers in all the games he's played so far against Namshar, and he hasn't looked really too troubled once, as we're going to be seeing this Nexus killed off. That's not a cancel, so that is something there for Namshar, at least as we see him coming all the way down into this position. It's going to have the Lurkers continue to burrow, and well, ShoWTimE looks as though he kind of wants to fight into this, so he's starting to push on forwards. There's the Storm starting to come in. He's got a couple more available. Still has Immortals in the back, as the Storms fade away, he's already just done so much damage to these Lurkers that he can just keep on pushing forwards. The Observer there at the end, though, messing up a little bit, and he isn't able to get close enough to actually pick off those last couple of Lurkers, which is a little bit of a weird mistake. Again, this is the Lurkers pulling away what is left of them, but Namshar's lost so many already that's going to be very difficult for him to kind of really build, you know, to rebuild. He just doesn't have many Lurkers at all anymore. And that does suck a little bit, as we're going to see these rocks get taken down. Zealots and Archon Immortals and the High Templars are moving through this, well, towards the center. At this point, we're going to see Lurkers do burrow again, and already starting to fire away onto some of those units. Another Storm. And that's actually a couple of Zealots that get caught up in it, and that splash helps, along with the Lurkers, to pick away at a couple of those. Some friendly fire. Tempest on the way, but I don't know if Tempest are needed right away. I guess the thing is with Tempest, they can also work well against Lurkers. They can fight from the distance, so even if it's not Broodlords, they're still going to have a part to play against this army. It's when it's just kind of no Lurkers, no Broods, the Tempests don't really make sense. Maxed out both players here. Remember, if Namshar wins this, it'll be his first ever series victory against ShoWTimE. He's 0-18 against him in official matches, which is just truly insane. I mean, what do you even say about that? As you can see those Lurkers getting to work once again. I'm just going to be seeing those Zealots continue to charge on forwards, though. I mean, he starts to go up the ramp, and that's why he doesn't want to move up. I guess that's why he plays the more patient game with the Tempest, as Queen takes a shot there towards the end of this. Namshar is backing away all the way over to the other side, and so now ShoWTimE has to chase him across here, run all the way over to the other side as well. He's actually going to split up his army to be able to come from two angles. He's going to come in from the back and also come in maybe from the sort of forward areas as well. Depends exactly perhaps on what he wants to do with this, or how he wants to approach it. Lurker's still firing away. A few more Zealots coming up as Zealots again ready to fight. There's the Revelation. So he has detection for all of this now. The Storms are ready, and well, the first Storm actually hits again more Zealots because he maybe wasn't expecting the Lurkers to just unburrow and come across. The Phoenix lifts one Lurker, cancels, lifts another, which brings two of them out of the burrow. That's kind of just huge in and of itself as well. A cool little trick to put that Phoenix from way earlier in the game than one of the first units built from ShoWTimE, just to bring it back into use here at a later point. No barriers available on these Immortals means they're dropped pretty quickly, so actually we're going to be seeing 3 of these Immortals going down very quickly, as Namshar is able to pick up something there, at least on his way out. Feels as though Namshar also has these kind of really bad moments where he loses a whole ton of stuff, but he at least gets something along the way sometimes. Like last time in the main base, he lost a whole ton, but hey, he did get the Forge and the Temple Archives, etc. This time again, he got a couple of mortals after he'd lost a lot already in the larger fight. As Roaches and Hydras coming down to the south side. Pressing on in here and going to be, well, forcing the recall out of ShoWTimE so that he can come across and defend. There's Adaptive Talents. The Lurker upgrade does just finish, so that's going to be another little something that ShoWTimE now has to worry about. Those Lurkers can burrow and move around so much faster than before. Another revelation on this army. As we are going to be seeing these units coming down the left. The Lurkers are set up. Oh, Namshar is trying to fight this, but ShoWTimE kind of doesn't want to fight, but he kind of does at the same time. It's like a weird combo. I'm a little bit worried because ShoWTimE is back into this composition which he lost with in game number 1. So it's a little bit scary. So you see these Lurkers to the left-hand side going to be burrowing, and so a lot of Lurkers once again. I mean, needs a couple of revelations or to make sure these observers are going to be very safe in the fights. Here you go. I mean, with Void Rays joining the fight as well. No prismatic alignment just yet. The High Templar are out of position to really do anything. I mean, now that Void Rays have ended up fighting the Hydras once more, and this is what happened in the game number 1. The Hydras just got rid of all the Voids, and then there was just Hydras left over to keep on fighting. This time, I guess there's not many Hydras left over, and the Tempest will continue to control the skies, and they're able to push back those Lurkers from just sitting there and able to, you know, sitting there and being able to just fire, fire, and fire. All of these Tempests gathering up towards the top side. Zealot's going to run in on the right as well. Going to be hitting into this Queen. Multiple Hydras as well. Going to be an opportunity for him to pick off quite a lot of units here. As you're going to see all these Hydras getting rid of these Zealots. So, going to be able to get that done. As you're going to see more Zealots pulling back down the left side. And again, Tempest just going to be moving on through the center as well. Have a quick update for you guys from the other series. Clem has tied the series up against Nurture in a 31-minute game. So Clem and Nurture are having one heck of a series of their own at the moment. And that's going into game number 3. We'll be able to maybe give you guys some highlights of that after this. As we'll be able to maybe jump on into the latter stages of game 3. Or, well, it depends how fast this game goes exactly. As right now we do see these Lurkers still being fired away at by the Tempest. Just being pushed around all over the place. Zealots charging forwards, and already a bunch of those Zealots getting taken down. Lurkers doing a good job picking off an Archon and an Immortal here as well. I'm just going to be seeing these Hydras continue to come out down the right side. Lurkers continue to come on through. They're going to start splitting themselves up between the natural and the main. A lot of Hydras here as well, pushing it in ShoWTimE. He's kind of fallen into the trap he was in the first game, where he did fall apart in the end. A couple of Zealots coming down, they're not able to do anything. The Tempest will be the answer to clean this up in the end as he gets up into carriers, which will obviously help too. It's been a long, hard road to get here for ShoWTimE. Can he play it out? Can he play it out to a victory, especially as we're going to be seeing Hydras to the left-hand side? This base isn't rebuilding. ShoWTimE is more focused on keeping this base to the south side alive. I mean, sure, mining over here would be nice to continue, but we're talking about actually not even that many minerals. 600, 1200 minus 30, so 1170 plus, well, 1570. It's like literally 1970, like just less than 2,000 minerals here, or 1,100 gas. I mean, it's a fair amount. It's something, but I wouldn't prioritize it. Not yet, at least. Maybe later in the game when resources become a lot more scarce. But we're a fair way away from that here, honestly, on Blackpink. There's still plenty of bases to be used, as we are going to be seeing 4 Hydras picked off by the initial storms, and maybe more Hydras now, as that first storm is deadly, and that's the sort of storm that makes people go, Protoss, how can you be happy? You know, how can you live with yourselves? Because that was a little bit disgusting there, honestly, to get started, as we see those Hydras pulling back up the left. More Roaches coming over too, and another hatchery coming in on the top side. So Namshar continues to expand, as also so does ShoWTimE. They're both taking these sort of hatches, so Nexus is down on these positions. Obviously ShoWTimE hasn't moved along over to here yet. There's still a little bit of creep control in that kind of area, but I do wonder where ShoWTimE might move to next, as Roaches and Hydras try and dive onto that army on the third base, but ShoWTimE deflects once again. So again, Roaches and Hydras still just moving around to see what else they can do, as we see just split up on either side. I still don't understand why Namshar is just sort of still on Roach Hydra at this stage. He's not making any effort to get out of it, and that's one of the issues. When there's Tempests and Carriers up in the sky, are you really going to get away with just Roach Hydra? I don't think you are. I think ShoWTimE's about to take this fight, and I feel like Namshar's army is about to disappear. High Templar left on this side of the map do not have energy just yet, but very soon they do. And when they do, those storms are going to rain on down to clean that army up. And so again, we're just going to be seeing the Roaches and Hydras pulling all the way away until the left-hand side. I'm just going to be seeing the Carriers continuing to make their way through a little bit more as well. And that's going to be so much damage dealt. The entire army is cleaned up, and Namshar just does not really have a way to rebuild from this. You see these High Templar have been kiting away, and now they are starting to be able to come in and drop those storms against this army. Another storm or two coming down. Some Archons will obviously begin to morph in now as well, perhaps in the near future. Across the map, ShoWTimE finds himself yet another base, still not overly committing to this attack. He's going to recall back home to try and maybe catch some of the tail end of these units. He doesn't actually get any of them though. Well, it's still the safer way to play, as Zealots have been going huge in this mineral line as well. They've got sent forwards instead of the recall. As we have got just another couple of Hydras starting to go down. ShoWTimE is on very low mining now. He doesn't have any bases left, but his standing army is very, very strong. And that's the one thing that I think Namshar is just going to fall to here. He does not have a proper way to be able to attack this army. This Skytoss army is just way too powerful as Archons pushing forwards. I mean, there we go. The Interceptors get launched, going to start moving in towards this army. Going to see Hydras taking quite a bit of damage. And I just don't think there's anything here for Namshar to really hold on with. There's just not the unit composition he needs. He needs something more than Hydras. Hydras and more Hydras with a couple of Queens and Roaches mixed in. This is a mid-game army, and this is not mid-game anymore. 23 minutes in, ShoWTimE is going to take what was a very long series between these two players, and he's going to be able to take it and move on through to the grand finals.